Now,
So could you please give us some good news on the show today? Some good news, because everything seems to be bad. And I said, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but here's what I came up with for good news. Are you ready? We don't get into politics here on the RP show. That's the good news. Homie, don't play that game. That's not what we do.
this is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon to you Eastern Canadians. We are live on episode 304 of Canada's daytime sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show. I'm Rod. He's Darren. I haven't thought about it. I guess I'm the Montel Williams of sports talk.
I don't know Montel Williams, number 2.
You don't? You know Montel Williams.
Who Montel
you don't
is.
know his number 2. I don't think he has a number 2.
No, I don't think so either.
But yeah, it's what we do. We talk sports, and thanks for hanging in. It's a big day. We're going to have a lot of fun today, and I guarantee you again that we're going to make you feel good. We're going to make you feel something. I know that for a fact. I hope it's good. On the program today, longtime NHLer Brandon Wheat King alum and the pride of Hillmond, Saskatchewan, Wade Redden will be joining us from beautiful Kelowna, BC to chat Stanley Cup playoffs and whatever's new in Redsy's life. Mo Khan, TSN Montreal. This guy, he's got it all. He can talk NHL, CFL. What are all his specialties? Tennis you could probably get down with?
He does it all.
Yeah. Mo Khan will be joining us from La Belle Province. And Gary Lawless, Vegas Golden Knights insider. And listen, do me a favor. You and producer Clark, Gary texted me this morning and said, be sure to ask me about the CFL. So if I forget, will you remind me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So are you ready to go with the quick 6 show topics?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Jordan. I got to say this. When I woke up this morning, Darren, this is what I thought of. The first thing in my mind was Golden Knights Canucks game 2 tonight.
It's big.
It's the first thing before my feet hit the floor.
It's big.
And this is what you live for, I think. When on the day of the game, it's the first thing in your head and you're thinking about it all day. It's a real nice change from thinking about coronavirus and the pandemic and how it's affected our lives and all our friends' lives,
Yeah.
So, we'll come back on that. But point 2 of the quick 6 show topics is the CFL Fan Base. It's led to our poll question. You saw yesterday the CFL announcing what I'm calling a fundraiser. You could call it a marketing campaign, whatever you want. But it is the 48-inch stand that they're going to rest the Grey Cup trophy on as it travels across the country for $349 plus tax. Canadian funds. You can have your name put on that base. And if you have season ticket holder money sitting with a team right now that you paid for your season tickets, but there's no games, the $349 will come out of that and go to the fan base. Really, the only reason I'm bringing it up, two reasons. I wanted to run this poll yesterday, but we already had a poll question. So it's today's poll question. Will you be paying the dough to be on the Grey Cup fan base? 82% of people saying no, 18% saying yes. I'll say that I will as a CFL guy. And the reason we're spending some time on this is because our studies and analytics show that people follow the show mostly for football talk. Because you're not going to get it anywhere else.
Right.
Here's my thing on the fan base. Because of what the CFL's meant to me for my whole life, I'll support it. I'm a CFL guy. But I expect more. And hang with me for a second. I'm a licensed coach, as you know, a recovery coach. But what do coaches always do? They expect more. They're on your butt all the time. A lot of people don't like their coaches. Do you know why? Because I know the CFL is capable of great things. And it's capable of so much more. So to come out with this piddly-ass fundraiser to put your name at a stand, sure, okay. But I expected a real grandiose campaign that's in everybody's face to celebrate what the CFL has meant to Canadians. And so far, I haven't seen that. Maybe that's coming. I don't know. But I expect more. And if people don't like to hear that, I'm sorry. But I just demand the best out of the things and people in my life.
Yeah.
I know some people don't like that. But that's my take on it. I expect more.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, and it's coming. I think there's going to be more coming.
I hope so.
It would have been, you're right, would have been nice to see something bigger unveiled. But but you're right. Like, as much as we get on the league for the way things have been managed or when things are missed, you got to understand this comes from the right place. It comes from a good place, right?
What is that place?
Like the place of family. right?
Okay.
Like you're hard on family because you love them and you know their potential.
You're
and
saying
you
what's
want,
coming from me. I thought you meant where it's coming from the CFL.
No, I get that, right? Like, yeah, what's coming from you. Like, it totally makes sense. Everybody, people want to think that you're just crapping all over the league and you hate the league. That's so far from the truth. If we hated the league that much,
we'd be talking
NFL. We'd move on.
Or anything else. Yeah, I expect more, and I hope more is to come. And by the way, Chris O'Leary, who's a longtime friend of ours, he's the senior writer at CFL.ca, announcing on Twitter this morning that he's now been furloughed by the CFL and is looking for writing gigs. So it's started. And I'm not sure. I was told that this campaign may top out at $10 million if they sold every name and milked every dollar out of it. $10 million is still not going to get you too far. So that's where I stand on the fan base. But I do support it, and I'll be buying it because I support the CFL. I just expect more. I think that's like the fourth time that I said that. So I think I've made my point clear. CFL is capable of great things. Let's see it. Point 3, and people are writing in already on this. CFL players continuing to opt out. It's interesting that this is the way that it's gone. Right after we got off the air yesterday, there were more. Sergio Castillo of the BC Lions opting out. From the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dakota Shepley, star lineman, kicker Brett Lowther, linebacker Dion Lacey. They're opting out. And let's just spend a second on this, and then we'll get back into the Stanley Cup playoff talk. This is kind of going the way that I thought that it would. And I'll say kudos to the CFL decision makers for allowing these players to get out of their contracts. And it comes with some very acceptable conditions, I would say. You're not going to get government relief if you opt out of your contract. If you do sign somewhere else and you get cut, you got to come back to us. That's all fair. Mm-hmm. What I'm seeing a lot of folks say is, hey, these guys will come back. They're not going to make it in the other leagues. I think that's harsh, and you don't know if that's true or not. Is this calamity for the CFL? They cancel the season, then now these players are jumping off the ship? Because that's kind of what it looks like in the eye test, right? Is it what it looks like?
No, it's not. I don't think they're jumping off the ship. I think they're taking a free opportunity to go and try, like a guy like Brett Lowther, especially if you can come back to your team. And, we talk about this being over a year and a half between games. You've got time. You've got till training camps open in May, if they open in May. So even if you take the fall until the winter to say, look, if I don't land anywhere by the winter, I'm coming back, great. Your team knows that. They're not going to go out there and try and replace you necessarily, especially if you're a guy who's got a shot at going to the NFL. I think it's, as a player who has that fire burning, you'd be crazy not to opt out and put yourself out there to try, because you'll regret it if you don't.
The interesting comment was from Brett Lowther, in that he opted out of his contract. He doesn't have an NFL deal. He doesn't have an NFL invitation to camp. But he said, if not now, when? I'm going to take advantage of this now. And Brett Lowther is a survivor. If you don't know his story, Google it. It's all over rodpedersen.com. I know that. So we're following it closely. But I had a nice call yesterday from a CFL guy that works in an office, and he's a team office, and he said, thanks for having our voice, Rod. And that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Just, I guess, standing up for the little guy in this corporate world that the CFL has become. So I will continue waving the flag of the employees, the players, and the coaches, because they don't have a voice, and they've kind of been lost in the shuffle here. Can you put up the comment from Trent in Norway, guys? Trent's with us. What's the clock say on the wall? It's 6:09 in Norway. PM. Norway calling. May the Canucks get even with Vegas. The CFL fan base should be only part of the total campaign. Where's the mass media movement on saving the CFL? Even a live national virtual concert would be included with this. Stay well, everyone. That's from Trenton, Norway, and his thoughts. So that's where we are on the CFL. So to point 4, getting back to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we'll get to this Vegas thing, but a sad fizzle for the Avalanche, like a really sad fizzle. You saw they were the odds makers in Vegas, favorite to come out of the West. They lose their goalie. Is that enough to just be wah, wah, wah?
It's not good.
No.
It's not good, because they play well. They got a ton of shots. It's not like they're not playing good hockey, and Nathan McKinnon is lights out. He might be the best player playing. Well, he is the best player, I think, playing right now, and he's really trying to put his stamp, to rival Connor as, best in the league, because he's been playing so good. But to not get the goaltending, that really hurts. And Dallas, their stars are waking up with Radulov and
really
Ben and Sagan finally scored in the series.
Where did Miro Heiskanen come from?
Right. And these guys are just starting to really come alive. So, and the former Blade in goal, right? Kubodin. Like they're
I can't believe it's the same guy.
I know.
It's been ages since he was in Saskatoon.
Doesn't it feel like it?
I'm like, this is the same guy, or is this his kid?
Was that before Makarov? And that, like,
it was Memorial Cup year, wasn't it, folks?
Before that, no, or
way
was
before that, before
man.
2013,
like
back when I was in the league.
Insane.
Well, good for them.
It's fun, but if they get a shred of goaltending,
they got a chance.
They got a chance.
I'm sorry that we're jumping all over the place, but you know what? It is a morning coffee discussion. That's what we do here. So just imagine the yappy guy in the corner jumping out, at the table with, hey, get Randy Ambrosy's signature off the certificate, and I may reconsider. $349 for a photocopy is ridiculous. That's from Dougal Cameron in Calgary, Stampeders fan. Dougal, love you, man. I do. This is bigger than your hatred for Randy Ambrosie. This is about the Canadian Football League. It's bigger than that. We got to put the prejudices, if you will, aside. It's for the survival of the league that you love so much. Fair?
Fair. But I agree with him. If it's just a photocopy, that's all you get.
Okay.
Because look, your name being on that thing is really cool. You're going to be able to find it, and it's there. Do something special. Did you see how Oakland, the Raiders, delivered their season tickets?
No.
Look it up. Maybe it's something we can bring up in overtime if Clark can find a picture of it. Beautiful box. It's like a stadium. You open up the stadium, and it's all silver in there. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I want to buy season tickets for the Raiders now.
The way the Vegas Raiders presented their season tickets to their fans, unlike anything I've ever seen, that's worth your season ticket money right there.
Well, I'll say this, across a lot of sports, not all of sports, but I have seen just a lot of laziness and cheapness in the marketing and fan engagement departments over the years. And now when they need the fans, it's come back to hurt them. And I'm not talking just the CFL. I'm talking pro hockey, NFL in some cases, just forgetting about the fans. And now they need the fans.
Yep.
And the fans have the power. How's that working for the pro leagues? Not great. Sort of just a lot of the minimum will do. Just getting by. Not going the extra mile to promote your team or league has hurt them.
Yep.
Can you put up the comment from Nelson, our VP of Sim Events? He says, the CFL Grey Cap fan base is a tough spot. $350 to $400 is a lot of cash, but no one said it was going to be cheap to save the league. Rod has said it for months. You're going to have to pony up and put your money where your mouth is. This is it. Well, you don't have to credit me or just me. I told you that I had a coach call me a couple months ago with his idea for a season, a 9-game season in the second half. Do you remember that?
I do.
And I'm kind of sitting there listening to him going, they don't care what you say. They don't care what I say. But I'll listen to it. And at the end of the conversation, the coach said, we're going to find out how much this league means to this country. That was I waited on the phone 45 minutes for that nugget. That sentence.
But that was it.
Because you think that way.
That was the one.
I waited the 45 minutes for that. Jeremy Davis, he's watching in the control room of Game Plus TV right now, operating the controls in downtown Toronto. He says, what's that cup money going to pay for, though? You with the tough questions. You should be sitting in the back of the news conference room. Is it on the CFL to answer that question? It's to keep the lights on, really, isn't it?
Yeah, go ahead and say
to pay salaries.
Like that would be cool if it is a support the league initiative and a fundraising initiative. Be like, hey, we have a potential to raise this much money, and this is going to cover 75% of our operating expenses to get us to training camp.
And that's what it is.
Or maybe it's to dole out a little bit of relief efforts to each of our 9 teams. We're going to give them stroke them each a check, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. It'd be cool to know for sure, but I'm sure that's what it is. Has to be.
It's a tough question. CFL. Why are we answering these questions? The CFL can answer those questions. Where's the money going, CFL? And believe me, as a guy who's had to raise money in the recovery of the mental health and substance abuse world, I get it all the time. Where's the money going? Mm-hmm. I think it's CFL fans' right to ask that question. If I'm going to dig down deep, I want to know where the money's going. Is it going to the commissioner at $750,000 a year that he makes, or team presidents that make $500,000 a year? Your CFL's still got a lot of warts that need to be fixed.
Most of the time, and don't take that to mean that you are entitled to knowing where every dollar and penny you spend on a business is going, right? Like, I don't want you to sit there and be like, oh, I'm buying a $90 hoodie from the CFL. Where's my money going? What's this going towards? It's going to run the business. Like, that's the end of it. But we're in a pandemic. We're in a global pandemic.
Tough time to ask for money.
The league shut down the season and is putting out, financial fundraising campaigns. Now, it is appropriate in this situation to ask where it's going, for sure.
We got to put the comment up here from Rick Regan. Rick Regan's watching in Wichita, Kansas. He's the big voice guy that says, how about that? I love that, Rick. He says, Green Bay Packers. The Packers pride themselves on being the only publicly owned, not-for-profit, major league professional team in the United States. Instead of having one owner or a handful of partners like every other NFL team, the Packers are owned by hundreds of thousands of fans. He's right. And, man, we could dedicate a whole show to that. And I was with the Rough Riders many years ago, 15 years ago, when they started the share offering and asked the people to pony up, what was it, $250 at the time? I think that's what it was.
For sure.
And you got a certificate, which really amounted to wallpaper for the most part, but you got a discount in the team store, 10 or 20% off or something like that. But that money with the Rough Riders at the time was to go to fund stadium improvements. We were going to put offices and new locker rooms in the end zone, similar to McMahon Stadium. And they didn't raise enough money. It did not go as far as they thought that it would, the Rough Riders. And where that money went, I don't know, to operations, like you say.
Yeah.
But they didn't raise as much as they wanted and thought that they would. It was the Green Bay Packers model. And now the CFL is in that same situation here in 2020, saying at best they could raise $10 million. This is what I'm hearing. And what is that necessarily going to pay for? Like you say, operations in, well, I'll just stop. I think there's a lot of unnecessary spending going on there, but it's up to the public to decide whether they want to pay the freight or not.
Yeah.
Got to move on. Point 5, Jays' biggest win of the year. The Blue Jays' biggest win of the year was at Tampa Bay yesterday. They split the series, but they're back over 500, and the Toronto Blue Jays fans are in third place in the American League Eastern Division. That's what our viewers voted that they would finish in, by the way. Let's hope that they get first or at the very least qualify for a wild card spot.
Yep.
But the Blue Jays win it, as they say. They're exciting.
That is.
More exciting to me than the Raptors, but I'm in the minority there. The Toronto Raptors open round 2 of the NBA playoffs on Thursday against Boston. The update on Kyle Lowry's injury, he is still a question mark for Game 1. You saw that, right?
Yes.
Sprained left ankle. They say Fred VanVleet will be able to carry the mail.
He can carry the mail. I was thinking of the same thing.
Carry the mail, Fred VanVleet. So that's what's going on there with our Quick Six show topics. And what else was I going to say? My mind is a mess today. We've got dual polls running today, by the way. We mentioned the one earlier. Will you be paying $349 Canadian to have your name on the Grey Cup fan base? I think they're probably going to put up the results on that. You don't need to, guys. The other poll is for Canada's Game of the Week in Week 12 of the CFL Sim season. Do you want to see the back end of the Saskatchewan-Edmonton home-and-home series that we broadcast last week on Facebook Live? This is the esports gaming computer simulated league that we run, or one of the other 3 fine games in the Canadian Football League this year. I don't even know what night we're going to broadcast it, Thursday or Friday?
Thursday.
What do we say? Thursday night? So that's our other poll that we're running.
I've been told Dakota Shepley has not opted out of the CFL Sim.
What? Oh, to the CFL Sim. Oh, yeah. For those that want to know, Brett Lowther, Dakota Shepley, Dion Lacey, James Wilder Jr., all these guys, for realsies, are still in the CFL Sim. We got all the stars. We're going to take a break and come back with Wade Redden, NHL alum, Senators great, Rangers great, Wheat Kings great. We're going to talk Stanley Cup playoffs. I never did come back to my thing that I've been thinking about Vegas and Vancouver since I woke up this morning.
We'll get there.
Can I just say this? I think Vancouver's going to be better, like way better.
They will be.
And they might even win tonight.
Oh.
But who expected a sweep anyways by the Vegas Golden Knights?
Right.
It's going to be must-see TV tonight from the Edmonton bubble. We'll be back It's the RP Show you're watching across North America, live on Game Plus TV Network, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.